destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability. He said it himself, in capital letters, on Truth Social. 100%, totally decimated, completely obliterated. And then, in the very next sentence, in the same post on the same day, he begged China, France, Japan, South Korea, and the United Kingdom to please send warships, because Iran can still send a drone or two, because Iran can still drop a mine, because Iran, the country he just destroyed 100% of, is still, somehow, closing the most important waterway on planet Earth. And every single country he called said no. Not quietly, not diplomatically, out loud, on the record, to cameras. Germany said, "This is not our war. We did not start it." Spain said, "Never." Italy said, "Diplomacy must prevail." Japan said it is probably illegal for them to go. China pretended it never received the request, and Iran's foreign minister did not even bother with a formal response. He just called Trump's plea begging for help. And the Revolutionary Guard posted 4 words that went around the world. Let him send ships. Let him send ships. Welcome. Subscribe right now, because what happened in the last 48 hours is the single most humiliating diplomatic sequence of the Trump presidency, and the story of how the most powerful nation on earth ended up publicly begging its allies, getting publicly rejected, and being publicly mocked by the enemy it claimed to have destroyed 100%. That story tells you everything about where this war really stands on day 16. Let's go. Start with the post, because the post is everything. On Saturday morning, day 15 of Operation Epic Fury, Trump woke up and wrote this on Truth Social. The United States of America has beaten and completely decimated Iran, both militarily, economically, and in every other way. But the countries of the world that receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage, and we will help. A lot. Read those 2 sentences back to back. Completely decimated Iran in every way, but you need to take care of that passage because we need help. Both true at the same time, according to the same man in the same paragraph. And the leaders of 7 countries read that paragraph and drew the only logical conclusion available to them. If America has completely decimated Iran in every way, why does America need our warships? And if America needs our warships, maybe it has not completely decimated Iran in every way. That contradiction is not a communications problem. It is a credibility collapse, and the world's leaders responded to it accordingly. Germany was first and most brutal. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius walked up to reporters, looked directly into the cameras, and said it in plain language. This is not our war. We have not started it. 5 words. Clear. Final. No diplomatic softening. No offer of future engagement. Just the clean, cold truth that Berlin had been too polite to say out loud until Saturday. And then every other European capital took its cue. Spain said never. The Spanish defense minister did not hedge, did not offer conditions, did not ask for more information. She said Spain will never accept any stopgap measures to keep the strait open, because the objective must be for the war to end, and for it to end now. Never from a NATO ally, in response to a direct presidential request. That word will echo in Washington for years. Germany declined, the same Italy whose Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni had positioned herself as Trump's European whisperer, the one European leader who understood him, who could work with him, who would be the bridge between MAGA America and the old continent. Meloni's foreign minister, Antonio Tajani, told reporters that diplomacy needs to prevail, not warships, diplomacy, from Trump's closest European ally. Japan said it was probably illegal. Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi stood before her own parliament and said Japan has not made any decisions whatsoever about dispatching escort ships. Japan is bound by laws strictly limiting overseas military deployments. Tokyo suggested that operations in the Strait of Hormuz might not pass legal muster. South Korea said it was considering the request, which in diplomatic language means it is looking for the most respectful way to say no. And China, the country Trump publicly named, the country whose president he was scheduled to visit at the end of this month, the country whose navy he was inviting into a strategic choke point he started a war over without asking Beijing's permission. China's foreign ministry spokesperson stepped to the podium and called on all parties to immediately cease military actions. Not a single word about warships, not a single acknowledgement that the request had even been received. China ghosted the President of the United States, publicly, on the record. Like this video right now, because what happened next made all of that look mild by comparison. Iran's foreign minister was given a microphone on CBS News, and he did not just reject Trump's coalition, he mocked it. He called Trump's public appeal begging for help. He said Iran sees no reason to talk to Americans. He said Iran did not close the strait to neutral parties, only to the United States and its allies. And then he revealed the detail that exposes the full humiliation of Trump's position. India negotiated directly with Tehran, bilaterally, without Washington, without asking permission. India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar told the Financial Times directly, "I am at the moment engaged in talking to them, and my talking has yielded some results." 2 Indian-flagged gas tankers passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday, not because America forced it open, because India called Iran and made a deal. India called Iran. India got its ships through. America, with the most powerful navy in history, 1,000 active warships stranded at anchor, and oil at $105 a barrel, cannot get a single tanker through without asking the enemy's permission. But India can, bilaterally, over the phone. The International Energy Agency released the numbers that frame this humiliation in its full economic weight. The war is creating the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. 15 million barrels of crude oil and 5 million barrels of oil products are cut off from the global market every single day. The IEA's 400 million barrel emergency release, the largest in the agency's 50-year history, would be completely absorbed in just 26 days at the current rate. 26 days, and the strait is still closed, and no warship coalition is coming, and India is making bilateral deals with Iran while Washington threatens NATO. Because yes, Trump threatened NATO when Keir Starmer declined to send aircraft carriers into harm's way. Trump said it on live television. Whether we get support or not, I can say this, and I said it to them. We will remember. We will remember. A threat to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, America's closest ally in the history of the modern world, the country that stood shoulder to shoulder with America through 2 world wars, through the Cold War, through Iraq, through Afghanistan. Trump told Britain, "We will remember," because Starmer would not send his carriers into a war Washington started without asking London first. And the EU foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, tried to salvage something from the wreckage, floating the idea of expanding Operation Aspides, the existing European naval mission that was protecting ships from Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, into the Strait of Hormuz. But she immediately acknowledged that all member states would have to agree, and Germany just said this is not our war, and Spain just said never, and the EU ministers meeting Monday were described as unlikely to expand Aspides operations into the strait. 1,000 oil tankers sitting at anchor, the largest oil supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. 26 days before the emergency reserves run out, a coalition of 0 warships committed, India making bilateral deals with Iran, Europe debating and declining, China ghosting the request, Germany saying not our war, Spain saying never, and the Revolutionary Guard saying let him send ships. the most powerful military in human history, launched the biggest bombing campaign since Iraq, struck 5,000 targets, spent $11 billion in munitions in 6 days, killed Iran's supreme leader, sank its navy, destroyed its command structure, and still can't open a 21-mile gap of water. Because Iran doesn't need an army to keep it closed. Iran needs a drone. Iran needs a mine. Iran needs a speedboat. And the strait stays shut. And the oil stays trapped. And 1,000 tankers keep sitting at anchor while the world's economy bleeds and Trump posts on Truth Social about 100% decimation. The Revolutionary Guard said it 4 words. Let him send ships. They knew the answer would be before he even asked. They knew because they understand something that no Truth Social post can change. You cannot bomb geography. You cannot destroy a choke point. You cannot ask China for help on a war you started without telling China you were going to start it. 16 days, 1,000 tankers at anchor.